Okay, let's try using envelope in pure data. Create a new patcher and save it as envelope.pd or something along that line. Let's use a noise generator. So, I have a noise generator and times tilde 0.5 to make sure that it's not loud. And create another times tilde, but without any number typed in. The second inlet of this object can receive a number to set the volume of a signal or sound. I recommend using a float number ranging between 0.0 to 1.0. Okay, let's make an envelope now. We'll be using an object called line. Line can receive a message and output a ramp. So first create a button, or also known as the bang object, and also create a message object, line object, and a number object, and patch them together like this. And type 1 space 1000 inside of the message object. So when you press the button, the message box is activated and sends out a message to the line object. First parameter is the target number, and the second parameter is the time it takes for the ramp to either go up or down to that number. So, the line object will output a ramp that goes from 0.0 to 1.0 in 1000 milliseconds, or 1 second. Try it. Okay, so we can treat that as the attack time. Next, let's create decay and sustain. In order to do that, let us learn about the delay object. So, what this object does is that when it receives a bang, it'll wait for a certain amount of time before it outputs a bang. So, let's set it as the same time parameter that we used for the attack time, which was 1000 milliseconds. It'll wait 1000 milliseconds until it outputs a bang. So, at the same exact moment, when the number goes from 0 to 1, the delay object will output a bang. And we can add a button here as a visual feedback. And now, let's set our sustain value and decay time. Let's try 0.5 as the sustain level and 1500 milliseconds for the decay time. Okay, let's make a release ramp. So you can have a delay object connected like so. And because this is automated, and we're not pressing and releasing a key like we do with a synthesizer, we can arbitrarily set how long the synth will sustain at its sustain level. So for example, we can type in 3000 milliseconds or 3 seconds as the parameter. After it reaches the sustain level, which is 50%, the synth will keep at that level for 3 seconds until it moves on to the release stage. And we can set the release time at 1 second. Okay, let's summarize what's happening here. When we press the button at the very top, the sound goes from 0 to 1.0 in 1000 milliseconds. And then, the decay is activated as the sound reaches its peak. The volume will then go from 1.0 to 0.5 in 1500 milliseconds. And it'll stay at that volume for 3 seconds, and then the volume will go from 0.5 to 0 in 1000 milliseconds. Before we can hear it in action, press the button for the release like this, so that the line object will set its starting point at 0 again, because it is now at 1 from earlier. Okay, let's press and hear it in action. Feel free to experiment with different ADSR parameters. For example, try to make a snare sound using short attack, decay, and release times. And use a high-pass filter, maybe set at around 4000 Hz. And we can also emulate a kick drum by using a low-pass filter at around 500 Hz and a longer release time. So, try out different things. Go experiment. And whenever you encounter a problem, Please stay patient and never feel discouraged. The more mistakes we make while learning pure data, the faster we'll master it. And please feel free to ask me questions down in the comments or via DMs. Okay, that's it for the envelope tutorial in pure data. See you in the next video. Bye.